Okay, here we have a few fractions where we're going to irrational numbers on the denominator. And what we're going to try and do is rationalize the denominator in these fractions. So let's take the first one here, which is 1 over root 3. So what we've got 1 over root 3. Now to make sure we get rid of the root 3 on the bottom, if we times by root 3, you get root 3 squared, which gives us the inverse. So therefore if we times both top and bottom by root 3, this should hopefully rationalise the denominator. So 1 times root 3 gives us root 3. Root 3 times root 3 gives us 3. And that has rationalised the denominator. The bottom is now a rational number. Now here, in 1 over root 2 minus 1, what we're going to do, we're going to make use of the difference of two squares formula. Now the difference of two squares formula, if I just write it in a different colour here, if we write a minus b times a plus b out and work it out, we see we get a squared minus b squared. The fact is you get a plus a times plus b and minus a times minus b times a, and those cancel out, so therefore you're only left with a times a, which is a squared, and minus b times plus b, which is b minus b squared, and you've got the difference of two squares. So therefore everything is squared, so therefore everything must not have square roots in it. So if we can times by root 2 plus 1, we get this situation where we get everything with squares. So that's what we'll do. We'll take 1 over the root of 2 minus 1 times top and bottom by root 2 plus 1, and here root 2 plus 1. So top's easy, 1 times that gives you root 2 plus 1. The bottom, you get root 2 times root 2 is 2. Root 2 times 1 is root 2. Minus 1 times root 2 is minus root 2. And you get minus 1 times 1 is minus 1. And we see that we've got plus root 2 minus root 2, so those are going to cancel, just like I said it would in the difference of two squares, and leaves us just 2 minus 1. 2 minus 1 is 1, so you're left with root 2 plus 1 over 1, which equals root 2 plus 1. Let's do the same thing with this one. Let's use the same technique, same ideas, same technique. And what we get, we're going to times top and bottom by root 3 plus 2. Oops, sorry about that. Root 3 plus 2. Root 3 times root 3 is 3 root 3. 3 times 2, that's supposed to be a 2 there, gives us 6. Root 3 times root 3 is 3. Root 3 times 2 is 2 root 3. Minus 2 times root 3 is minus 2. Oops, sorry about that. Let me just erase that. Okay. And we got minus 2 root 3. Minus 2 times 2 is minus 4. And once again, we can see these two cancel out. So let's just simplify all of that. So you get 3 root 3 plus 6 over 3 minus 4, which is minus 1, which is better written as minus 3 root 3 minus 6. And that's our answer to that one. Okay, the next one. We have got root 23 minus root 37 over root 23 plus root 37. So this times top and bottom. Remember, it's the bottom that we want to make rational, so we're going to times by the negative of that. So we're going to get root 23 minus root 37 all over root 23 minus root 37. That's what we're going to times by. So let's multiply this out. So on the top we're going to get root 23 times root 23, which is 23. And then I'm going to get minus root 23 times root 37. And I'm going to get two lots of that, because I'm going to get minus root 37 times root 23 minus 37 times root 23. So I'm going to get two lots of that. And then I get minus root 37 times minus root 37, which just gives me plus 37. All of that over. Now by now you should realise you're just going to get that times that, which is 23, minus that times that, which is minus 37. So 23 plus 37 is 60, minus two lots of root 851 when we've multiplied that all out, the 23 times 37, divided by minus 14. Now you can see 2 goes into both the top and bottom. I'm going to change the sign and everything. I'm going to make that minus, that plus, that minus, which we can do. So 2 into 60 goes 30, and it's minus 30 plus 2, divide that by 2 gives you just root 851 all over 7. Change the sign of that, and I get my final answer. Okay, so just to review, let's go back. If you've got one where you've just got a surd on the bottom, just times by the same surd to rationalise it. If you've got a surd plus or minus something else, then just times that surd by the opposite sign in the middle here. Always change the sign in the middle to rationalise your denominators. As similarly, same, change the sign, and you end up with a rational denominator. And similarly here, change the sign from plus to minus, and you'll end up with a rational denominator. Here we have a few factorizations to do. So first thing first, remember, first thing to do is look to see if you have a common factor. Do we have a common factor? This is just x times x, this is 3 times x, and this is just 2. And you can't find a common factor of those. So therefore, our instinct is this is going to be a double bracket type factorization. So let's put the brackets in and see if we can work out what we got. Now when you multiply out your brackets, if you think about it, it's obvious we're going to get x times x to get the x squared. Now numbers that go here must times together to give you 2. And the only options we have are 1 and 2, or minus 1 and minus 2. Let's just put the 1 and the 2 in. Now this 2 ends up timesing by the x, and this 1 ends up timesing by the x to get us the number of x's we have, and they've both got to be positive, so therefore that must be plus 1 and that must be plus 2. And that's how you go about doing that one. Here, let's do this one. We've got a common factor. Let's write them, well, let's see if we can see it more easily if we write them out as 3 times x, and this one, 6x, is equal to 2 times 3 times x. And if we just get a highlighter, we can see we have 3 that's common to both, and a different highlighter, we can see we have 1x common to both. So when we factorize this, we can see we've got 3x as our factor. And then we can see if we take 3x out from this, we're left with x here. That's 3x squared, and we've got plus. When you take the 3x out from here, you're left with the 2 here. So that gives you 3x times x plus 2 when you factorize it. This one, we're going to use the same method as we did up here. We have no common factors, so we're going to do a double bracket factorization. Now we've got obviously of x squared, we've got x and x must times to give us x squared. Now 35 minus 35 could be minus 5 times 7. It could be 5 times minus 7. And also it could be 1 times 35 minus that, and 1 times minus 35. Those are your possible options. Well, these two clearly aren't going to combine to give us the minus 2. And this would combine to give us 2, and this would combine to give us a minus 2. So this must be our option. So we've got a 5 in one and a minus 7 in the other. Now you can always check your factorizations are correct by multiplying out. So let's just do that in a different colour. Let's write out FOIL. That's how we multiply out. So first two things gives us x squared. Outer two things gives us minus 7x. Inner two things gives us plus 5x. Last two things gives us minus 35. And then we can see that these two combine to give us minus 2x, which is what we want. So our answer is correct. So let's move on to this one. We've got 2x squared and we've got minus 3. Well, let's start off with the x squared. Well, clearly 2x squared has got to be x times 2x. Or you could have x squared times 2, but that wouldn't be much point in the factorization because you have x squared and a 2, and how are you going to combine to get the x with only x squareds or 2's? So therefore we need just x's in one of the brackets. Now we've got factors of minus 3 and minus 1 and 3 and 1 and minus 3. How are we going to put these in here to get the right answer? Well, let's look. Let's just try. Well, how about you just try something? Let's try putting minus 1 in here and 3 in here. Well, 3 times 2 gives me 6, and minus 1 times x gives me minus 1, which will combine to give you 5x, which is not very good. So let's rub that out and try again. Let's try putting the minus 1 over here and the 3 over here. And that gives me 3x and minus 2, which gives me plus x, which is not what I want. I want a minus x, so let's get rid of that and try a different answer. So that seemed to work because that was a difference of 1. So let's put this 1 here and put this minus 3 here. Minus 3 times x gives us minus 3x. 1 times 2x gives us 2x. Combine those and you will get the minus x. So that is our answer. On this one, fortunately again, there's not too many options for the x's, so we can put those in. And then we're going to combine things to get minus 6. Well, we've got quite a few more options now. We've got minus 2 and 3, 2 and minus 3, we've got 1 and minus 6 and minus 1 and 6 as our options. And we're going to try and combine these to get minus 13. Let's try and do this visually in our heads without having to write it all out and rub it out. So let's just imagine we've got minus 2 here times x minus 2x, 3 here times 5 is 15x, and what did I say? It was minus 2x. So minus 2x plus 15x gives me 13x. Not quite right, it's minus, so I got something right. So maybe I've got to change the signs around. So let's put the 2 in here. 2x minus 3 gives me minus 15. That seems to work. Let's write that down and see if we can do the multiplication out, because that seemed to be good. 2 times that gives me 2x. Minus 3 times that gives me minus 15x. And we can see that will combine to give us the minus 13x. 2 and the minus 3 give me the minus 6. The 5x and the x gives me the x squared. So that's our final answer. Now here we've got a minus x squared. So let's put a plus x and a minus x in the brackets to get us minus x squared. And 6 could be either 2 and 3, or minus 2 and minus 3, or minus 1 and minus 6, or 1 and 6. Just scroll down to get them more into the screen, give us a bit of space for working. So which of these is going to work? Well, I need to get minus 5. So let's try putting these 2 in. 2 in here times that gives me minus 2x. 3 in here gives me plus 3x. Well, that's no good, so I want minus 5x, and that only combines to give me plus x. I'm having a sneaking suspicion it's going to be something to do 1 and 6. I want minus 5 to be bigger, so let's make the 6 go opposite the negative. So put the 6 here and put this 1 here. 1 times x is 1x. Let's just write that down. 6 times minus x is minus 6x, and that equals the minus 5x. So we can see we got that. 6 times 1 gives me the 6. The x times the minus x squared gives me the minus x squared. So let's just highlight all our answers at the end of this, so we can see that our answer to this one was 6 plus x. This is our answer to E. This is our answer to D. This is our answer to C. Our answer to B, that one, and our answer to A. The key things to remember are: look, see if you've got a common factor and if it's this type of factorisation. Or look to see if there's no common factors at all. Alright, then you're going to have a double bracket factorisation, and you've got to look at numbers which combine to give you this number and things that combine to give you the thing at front. Put the x bit in first is a good plan, and then try different numbers and see which works.